Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. And as you can see, I'm joined by my two players. Can't get my other hand in there. There we go. My two
Hello.
players.
We
Um,
are both.
both of us. Uh, First off, this is Scribes and Scrolls, Book 7, Under Red Moon, Chapter 96. Pride Goes Before Destruction. We're getting closer to hitting that official 100, though technically we've surpassed it with our interludes. Interludes?
Did you just say what?
My lips stuck together and I said interludes.
Interlubes.
It's not that kind of
Welcome, everybody.
stream.
Welcome, everyone,
Welcome.
to Mini Terrain
Welcome.
Domain. If this is your first time here, this is exactly what it is.
Welcome to Mini Terrain Domain After Dark. Jeez. Anyway, as you can see, we are actually down to just Flip and Teera, Gary and Cari. Unfortunately, M had to reduce their overall amount of games they were involved in, and they're not able to participate in this game anymore, which is why part of why we've been on hiatus for a couple weeks. But we made some adjustments, and it's not because of M's departure, but I'm going to officially say that we are moving into the final arc of this campaign. We've realized that the story is reaching its end. Character arcs are being fulfilled, and probably sometime within the next, probably couple of months, we'll hit our finale, and we're gonna try to pull together an epic 1 or 2 part finale. We'll see if we can pull everything together, but yeah, Scribes and Scrolls we'll be pushing on for probably another, I'm guessing 6 to 8 episodes ish, maybe a little longer. We've been on this ride for almost exactly 3 years, I think. We started in, I want to say March, April, or May 3 years ago. So yeah. So that's we'll get started here in just a moment. I know we're running a little late, but we're probably going to have a slightly shorter stream tonight. A couple super quick announcements. Of course, as I just said, we're back, and for the foreseeable future, we will still be here every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Every other Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the following Tuesday, you can catch our D&D 5e game, Sky Metal Iron Gods, which is game mastered by the incredible Vi, and that is one of the ones that M is still playing in, so you can find M there along with myself and Sarah and Karen playing in that game. And then Thursday nights, we're here, me and Cari and several others, in our Welcome to Paradise Academy, our Kids on Bikes RPG, that is happening every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Oh boy, so it's like I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done it on Monday nights in a while, but I just did it on Thursday. I'm just gonna hit the high points. Look up there, over above Cari, up here in the corner. Those are our domain tomes. They are the domain dice for this game. They're something that the players can earn only from you, the viewers. In fact, I saw that Big Bearded Nerd subscribed, which means you get a
Yay.
domain tome. Domain tomes allow the players to re-roll or do a handful of other things. They can spend 5 tomes to change the level of success of any dice roll up or down by 1 level, including GM rolls. So that's domain tomes. Subscriptions, resubs, gift subs, tipping $5, cheering 500 bits, all that stuff earns domain tomes for the players. Keep in mind that or be informed that we're adults playing a game of make believe. You may occasionally hear adult language, graphic depictions of violence, intense emotional role play, things like that. Be warned, if that's not something that's for you, feel free to go somewhere else. Know that we are keeping ourselves and our players, all of us, safe at the gaming table. We understand everybody's lines and veils. We have safety tools in place to make sure that we are all safe and having fun. We encourage you to do the same. I even incorporated last weekend, myself and Dwight from Big Bearded Nerd and a couple others, we were at Breakout Con, which in Toronto, Canada, which is very near and dear to Gary's heart. We were invited as special guests, and I really admired that Breakout Con puts a lot of emphasis in all of their stuff leading up to the con and during the con on safety tools and player safety, even including physical X cards at every gaming table. And I even brought my own traffic light cards that I used in all my live games, so that people can be safe. It's important. We encourage you to use those tools in your own games. The final announcement before we get going is just a reminder, as we do before every stream, is to remind you that you matter. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. There are any number of reasons why you might not be feeling great. Maybe you just need somebody to talk to. Maybe you're doing fine. And you just want to know what having somebody else to talk to is all about. Regardless of the situation, you can type !help in the chat, or you can check it down here at the bottom of the stream. A couple of URLs. findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, Cari, what time is it?
It's time to find some paths, bitches.
All right. Most recently, after learning of a mysterious artifact in a very mysterious frozen mountain in the middle of the desert, you headed out of the I guess renegade city, you could call it, of Erglin in the desert, to retrieve this artifact called the Gift of the Frost Heart. During all of this, it was discovered that time was moving very differently. Upon exiting, you found that something like 10 days or I don't remember the exact number of days, but somewhere between 10 and 20 days had passed while you'd been in there.
Problematic number of days.
Yes. Which means instead of having like 3 weeks to get to your destination, you have like 4 days now to get there. Thankfully, you have a small airship, the Zephyrhawk, that was given to you in Turtleback Ferry. When you came out, you were confronted by Yeltha, right hand and bloodsworn to Roniker of the Roving Wolves tribe of orcs, who was trying to get you to give the Gift of the Frost Heart to her. When you refused, she said she's not going to give it up, and a bunch of orcs, including Rhaegar and Roniker, popped up out of the sand riding bullets. And that was pretty much the entirety of that last session, was the battle with the orcs, during which time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Teera killed both Yeltha and Rhaegar.
She sure did.
It's enough that they were both killed, but they were both killed specifically by Teera. And Roniker made a getaway on his bullet.
With Yeltha's body, right?
Yes.
I don't know if he didn't think she was dead or what, but...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep, that is correct. And he took off on his bullet, and you all took a moment to breathe in the aftermath. I know Kane was, I believe, down to like 5 hit points. Marta had created in the last rounds of the fight and was still active, was this healing circle. Was it Marta or was it Flip that created that? I don't remember. One of the two of you created that, which allowed for some healing. Most of you are in bad shape, and a rest would do you well as you decide your next moves. So that's where we're going to pick up. It is, I believe it was nighttime? It's nighttime. I'm just going to say it. At the base of this mountain, you've got the Zephyrhawk parked there. You had taken the tarp down that Yeltha had put up to wrap this magical sword, this disrupting sword of negative energy that Yeltha was using, because you didn't trust it. So that's all wrapped up. Kane, after receiving some healing, said, "I'm going to bed," and climbed aboard the Zephyrhawk and is resting in a hammock on the ship somewhere, leaving Marta, Teera, and Flip to decide what you're going to do next.
Have we made like a fire?
Yeltha had a fire going, so that
Okay.
fire is still going. You
Good.
can easily tend to that and keep it going.
Cool. Teera for a long time just kind of seems to be like sitting and just kind of staring into the fire, sort of lost in her thoughts.
Flip is gonna look over at Teera, and he's gonna stare at her for a while before he pipes up and says, "Hey, penny for your thoughts over there." And by penny, I mean no, that's metaphorical. I'm not giving you shit. But you should share. You feel like you're weighed down. It's not often that people's demons physically manifest and rise up and try and kill them, and you get to try and kill them back.
Yeah. Aren't I a lucky, lucky girl?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Teera is also possessed by a literal pit
Jesus
fiend.
fucking Christ. Did you have to use that verbiage, Gary?
That
He might have forgotten.
I didn't. I just forgot to mention it. That was the other consequence of the rapid movement of time, was that Avaxiel, the pit fiend, the 10,000-year-old pit fiend, has recovered quite a substantial amount. And you know essentially that every day he makes an attempt to break free.
One other quick question I have before we get too deep here. I have a bunch of conditions that have not yet been resolved. Is there anything magical that either Marta or Flip could do to help me with my sickened 5, enfeebled 2, and drained 3?
Some of those came about during the fight, correct?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Are you essentially taking a long rest?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the plan. We're not going anywhere. We're not gonna drag Kane.
So the sickened condition basically is that basically it's literally you can make yourself throw up and roll a save. So given that you're taking a long rest and you're going to focus on doing this, it might take you a little bit into the night, but it shouldn't affect your long rest. I imagine you go around the backside of the Zephyrhawk and
hear some sounds.
Yeah, make some sounds. What else did you have? Enfeebled
2 and drained 3. I think some of these happened because Avaxiel tried to come out.
So I know the sickened condition comes about as part of that. Yep. The drained condition. So what's your drained level?
Drained 3.
If you complete an 8-hour rest, your drain condition will go down by 1.
Okay.
For each 8-hour rest. So you will still be drained 2.
Drained 2.
Which is a -2 penalty to Constitution checks, Fortitude saves, and your hit point maximum had been reduced by those. So it would go back up when you lose that one by your level times the drained value. So was that 30 points you would go up?
Yeah. Okay.
And then
well, that's great. Enfeebled 2 was the other.
You guys go ahead. I will figure out
Yeah,
what the enfeebled
yeah, that's
one
what I
is.
was. Perfect. That's exactly what I was planning. So Teera would kind of like crack her neck from side to side, and she would like look over at Flip and just be like, "Well, Flip, I'm thinking about doing something very selfish, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better at not being so selfish, but I don't think this is something I can really avoid."
You're gonna want to go back to that Orc City and try and kill that dude and get that other chick's back, right? Her corpse.
Yeah, well, yeah, I want to go back and kill that other dude,
Yeah.
Veronica,
Mhm.
and I want to steal back Garm's corpse.
Right.
'Cause-
And you don't care about the girl's corpse so much.
No, fuck her.
Well,
She
I
made
mean,
a
she's
bed.
dead. It might not be fun, but depends on how long.
Gross, Flip. Fuck, that's not what I was talking about.
You said it. Don't look at me. You used the words. Jeez.
And in spite of herself, Teera laughs, and she would look back over at him and be like, "We have to get to the Lotus. I know I should just put this all behind me, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. What do you think?"
I think sometimes you have to do what you have to do. You're compelled to complete some quest as if moved by some divine hand. Also, additionally, that guy was a dick.
Yes, he was. More than you know. And it's not about him. I owe Garm a lot. I mean, he could have, probably would have been easier for him to just kill me when I was little and be done with it, never have to think about it again, but he didn't. You know, he gave me a life and he made me strong and he taught me so much. And then I wasn't there for him when he needed me.
All right. I need you to do something for me, and it's gonna sound weird, but I promise that it's gonna help. And Flip is going to look at his spells, and he is going to see if he has any illusion magic, because he may not. He doesn't. So Flip is going to he's gonna look at Teera and he's gonna say, "Look, imagine that I am Garm. Okay?
Okay?
We're talking.
Okay.
And I need you to answer this question. But it's important that you see Garm's face on my body. Okay?
That is going to take some work.
I know I am pretty handsome, but you're gonna have to ugly me up a little bit in your mind, okay?
Will do.
Let's say that you go to this orc village in the middle of the desert and you challenge Roniger. Let's say you do it in a one-on-one battle, and let's say that in the intervening time that it's a duel of honor and you fight him and nobody interferes. And let's say that in the course of this honorable battle, and keep in mind, the odds of this all happening are very slim. In the course of this honorable battle, you are slain. Okay?
Okay, very hard to imagine, but continue.
What does Garm say when you meet him in the afterlife? And he asks you, "Teera, what happened?" And you tell him that you died trying to get his corpse from Roniger's possession. What will he say? Is he going to see that as an honorable sacrifice? Or is he going to see that another way?
Flip, you don't understand. It's you remember me talking to Ronica about all the traditions that he crushed when he moved half the tribe to Ugland, right?
Yeah.
You heard me talking to him about that?
Uh-huh.
So he sacrificed so many traditions. That one is the one that hurts the most. Not burning him at pyre. It's that I can't express to you unless you've lived it how important that is to us. You need it. It's not just disrespectful, it's unholy. It's keeping an honorable man from his just reward. I don't have any other way to describe it. It's the worst thing you could do. It's worse than killing him. Which, for the record, I bet he fucking killed him. He said he died of old age. Bullshit.
Look, I'm not arguing with you, but I will point out that everything you just said is how Teera feels about what happened. But my question was, what would Garm say if he knew that you died trying to get his corpse away from his usurper? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Not about the unholiness of the actions and how you feel about how Garm's been dishonored. Because ultimately, that's the only question that matters. What does Garm think about your decision? Looking back on all of those other decisions that followed, or preceded it. I meant to say preceded it. You knew what I meant.
You don't think he would approve?
If he cared for you as much as you have suggested that he did, I would say losing your life for that purpose would be disappointing to him. He invested all this time and effort and to keeping you safe and teaching you the way of his people and giving you a future that fate said that you otherwise probably should have been denied. But it was Garm who stood as a buttress against fate and said, no, we weave our own tapestry. It's not you who puts the tapestry on us. And in the grand scheme of time and space, do I think that he would see it as a noble sacrifice were the worst to happen? I feel like my long, meandering line of questioning should suggest how I think and feel about it.
Flip, thank you. I do appreciate your input, and it's hard for me sometimes to see both sides of the situation. But you kind of just made my case for me. He put all that time and effort into making me strong, and it always felt like there was something at the end of it. Something that I would have to do, a test. And I think this might be it. If you want to go on ahead without me, I understand. We'll tell Kane in the morning. Let him make his own choice. And is Marta sleeping by this time too? She's still there.
Marta went up on the deck of the Zephyrhawk and if you are looking or listening for Marta, make a perception check.
Sure, I guess I would. That's 21.
Did you say that was bad?
Yeah, it's not good. My perception isn't great.
Well,
I
21
keep forgetting
still
we're level 10.
Still decent.
Oh, good.
Marta is basically just up above. This fire that Yotha had built is basically just down off the starboard stern part of the ship, and Martha is sort of midship. It probably, at most, I think it'd be like 15 or 20 feet away from you. You can't hear what she's saying, but she's talking. It could be prayer. It's muffled. mutterings and is rather continuous. Like she's not listening to a second half of a conversation. She's just
Gotcha.
continuously speaking.
So I would kind of like look up and I would look back at Flip and I'd be like, we can check with Mata in the morning too. But if you could at least drop me off at Ergland and then continue on the journey, this is my job, my challenge, my task. And I'll do it alone if I have to.
Don't be a horse's ass.
Well, Teera would smile and she would just be like, you've given me too many challenges tonight, Flip. I don't know if I can help myself.
Do you need me to enumerate in song how many times I've saved your ass and the ass of all of your friends over the past, 2 weeks? I mean, excluding the time jump, the last 2 weeks, how many times Flip has been the hero? There's the time on the river. There was the time in the dam. There was the time when Flip tried to save you, and despite yourself, you still put your hand on the battery. That seemed to have turned out poorly. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was the time when I killed all of those riding creatures and orcs. I'm sure I've forgotten some because there's just so many. Oh right, remember the little farmhouse we were in when I saved your house? When I saved your ass twice?
By now, Teera has stood up, and she is, I would imagine now is when she's on her way back around the Zephyrhawk to go puke. And on her way by, she kind of like grabs Flip's ear and like tugs it just to get him to like shock him into stop talking. Just being like, Flip, if you want to write a song about it, please do. I would take this lecture much better if it was set to melody.
Flip is going to try and dodge her ear grab and flick her in the thigh.
This has got to be.
That sounds like a contested. Dexterity.
Imagine Dex. Yeah, contested.
Yeah, this
Dex.
is just gonna be contested Dex.
Okay.
Amazing. That is a.
29.
Wait.
I was waiting for
Jesus.
Gary to say, "Can I roll Bardic Lore?"
God damn. Now, I have a quick question. So, this is a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do I add my score or my mod for Dex?
Your mod. You always had your mod.
Okay. Yeah, I figured. I don't know why there's a score on here then. Okay, anyway. Sorry. Hey.
If we're cheesing, I would like to use my deception.
Oh my god.
Because I would like to feint her out, which I can do as I'm trained.
Incredible.
That is fair.
Yeah, I got an 18, so I lose.
I got a 34. So
Flip be nimble, Flip be quick, Flip dodges the ear flick, says Doghammer 13.
She tries to grab his ear and he flicks her on the thigh and he's gonna say, once again, now I'm saving you from yourself. What do you think would happen if you grabbed my ear? What if the inner spirit of the dragon that lives within me came out and ate you?
Inner spirit of the dragon. I'll believe that when I see it, Flip.
Okay.
Ow.
Sorry. What is the house? There was 2 times in the house, and then there was the time after I saved you from the bandits when they came on your brother unawares.
Teera like waves him off as she's on her way around the Zephyrhawk.
I forgot them much sooner.
You just hear sounds of retching.
Yep. Teera made it around without anybody seeing, which is as much dignity as she could muster. And then she kind of spends the rest of the night thinking about a game plan if Flip doesn't have anything else to lecture her about.
Do you camp out on the ground? Do you go up to wherever you've been sleeping on the ship?
I would want to be on the ground. I think Teera would want to be. She feels safest, somehow safest there.
Okay. What about Flip?
Hang on 1 second, and I'll tell you.
While Gary's making a decision, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we have all kinds of great t-shirts for your different Pathfinder and D&D classes. We have great t-shirts from our Paradise, Michigan game, and so many more. You can get them on coffee mugs, tank tops, hoodies, and all kinds of other stuff. Teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
Flip is um he pulls out his lute and he starts strumming and he pulls out his steel mirror and he's gonna start composing a song.
Oh my God. Okay.
And so he strums and he's like, I'm just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off myself. I'm like ambrosia to touch. I want to hold myself so much. At long last, their savior has arrived. For them, thank God, I arrived. I'm just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off myself. And he will be working on the song for the rest of the night.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible. It is ironically very soothing to Teera to like hear him like gently making a song, and like the sound which was once annoying and bothersome and would have kept her up all night is strangely comforting.
Do you stay around the fire composing?
Yeah.
Okay. Teera,
Yeah.
at some point, as you're laying there listening to the soothing sounds of Flip's lute and singing, the crackling of the fire, the otherwise silence of the desert, you drift off to sleep. You know how sometimes when you're falling asleep, your subconscious kind of feels like you're actually falling and you do that sort of jerk awake?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You feel that sensation, but you don't jerk awake. You sort of come to within your subconscious, within a dream. And the sensation of falling doesn't go away. You are hurtling through a massive chasm. This is essentially, picture Gandalf and the Balrog at the beginning of the two towers when you see that battle,
Yeah.
and you just see the grand scope. And as you look above you, it's again very similar to the Balrog, because there is a pit fiend with his wings swept back that is also hurtling. He looks almost like he's trying to reach out at you, but you get the sense that he's falling with you. And you're falling for like a really long time.
Wow.
Do you say anything or do anything?
I guess Teera would try. Are they close together falling, or are they far apart falling?
I would say you're probably 20 feet apart.
Okay. Honestly, no. Teera wouldn't, like, she would just kind of like see him and try to make sense of this. And does he look afraid? Can I tell?
I would say his look is less, I wouldn't describe it as fear, concern.
Mm-hmm.
That it's the look of somebody who's, especially a winged creature, that seems to be succumbing to gravity, like their wings just aren't doing what they're supposed to.
Sure.
And he does also, anytime as he's casting his gaze around, anytime his eyes are laid on you, you see this quick flash of anger, contempt.
Okay. Does Teera have her stuff? Does she like have her weapons?
You do not have your weapons.
Well, fuck.
You are... It is literally just you and your clothing.
Teera wouldn't do anything. She would do her best to keep her eyes on him. She doesn't trust, like, losing sight of him, if that makes sense. But that's it.
I would like... We're going to do an opposed will save.
Okay.
What is your will?
Plus 16.
Okay. What this is going to determine, essentially what's happening here is this is like the ultimate sales negotiation. Just waiting to see who's going to talk first.
Who's okay.
So
okay.
whoever fails is compelled to speak first.
Okay. Okay. I'll
All right. I have my number.
All right, I got a 27.
I got a 32.
Jesus. Well, Teera would eventually kind of get a breath in and would just be like, well, hurtling downwards towards hell, this ought to feel really familiar to you, eh?
What makes you think we're hurtling downward?
Teera looks around like, I don't know, falling? It feels, sure as shit feels to me like it's downward.
You don't know what this is, do you?
What is it?
You see, for a moment, he unfurls his wings a little, and for just a moment, air catches in them. And you would expect, as you're falling, that when he does this, you would expect it to cause him to suddenly, like opening a parachute, just go flying away from you.
Mm-hmm.
But when he does this, it actually allows the distance to close between you. And all of a sudden, just like that, he's within 5 feet of you. You can smell the brimstone. So he looks right into your eyes and he says, "This is our final contest, Teera."
Oh, no. No.
This is a Vaxial,
Shit.
your dark passenger.
Yeah, this is him, all right. Oh, fuck him. Okay, wow. Okay. Well, Teera would, oh, God. Teera would, make an intimidation check. Can I make an intimidation check? Can I try to scare him?
You want to try to intimidate the demon?
Yes, please. Can I? This
sure.
would be the most fucking alpha move shit ever.
Sure.
Let's go,
That's gonna
man.
be
Let's
okay. I got the DC.
fucking go. I got a 28.
Oh my god. His DC, because he's all of his stats are hindered while he's still attached to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
His will save DC was 27.
Yes! Fuck you, man.
What do you do
Yes!
to intimidate a Vaxial the Pit Fiend?
Teera would, is he wearing it's his clothing, I imagine, is some kind of badass looking armor? Or no?
He doesn't wear clothing.
Oh, he is naked. Okay, he's
yeah.
naked. Teera would kind of as they're falling, she would kind of stop flailing for a second and she would just be standing in the air almost. And she would just say, she would look at him with this fucking rage. And she would say, well then, so be it. And she would look like she's fucking ready to fight. As you know, she doesn't know how a final confrontation with a Vaxial is gonna work, but she's ready to grapple. Said she doesn't have her weapons, so she's like a wrestler almost.
For 10,000 years, I was held prisoner in that dam. If you hadn't have come along, I might be there another 10,000 years.
I tried to help you. I said that before. Don't get pissy with me because it didn't fucking work out. I tried to help you. You might have been in there for another 10,000 years, or 20, or 50, or 100. Is that preferable?
The goblin friend of yours makes a point. You
Gods, don't...
are very hot-headed. I wasn't condemning you. I wasn't criticizing you. It's as close as you'll get to gratitude for me. If it wasn't for you, I might have been imprisoned for another 10,000 years. But because of your rashness, your rushing to stop the dam, you freed me. The cost to yourself.
Oh. Yeah.
You felt the weakness.
Yeah.
You felt me fighting my way out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't voluntarily trying to destroy you from within. By my very nature, Teera, I am evil. I am like a cancer, like a poison in your body. You have fought strongly against that. I am much stronger now. This is our last attempt for me to break free or be forever trapped within you.
Well, if you break free, then what happens to me? Do I just get to go on?
You'll survive. You'll go on being weak, pitiful flesh bag of a human. You'll have your moment in the timeline before you die, and from the sounds of your plans, maybe even briefer.
Well then, what do you want me to say? Bon voyage? What do I do? How do I get
I'm
you
gonna
the
miss
fuck
you,
out of me?
Teera. And he hurtles himself forward, grabs your shoulders, and hold on, let's say this. The way I was going to say it sounded very aggressively sexual, so I won't say that. He possesses you. That's the word I want. He essentially.
You want to lay one on me, or what? There he is.
The word enter, the word penetrate, those I had to push
Nope.
aside.
Nope. All
Nope,
fine to
nope.
skip. Thank you.
Red light, red light. He superimposes himself, basically. And for a moment, as he grabs you, he sort of moves in and occupies the same space as you. You seem to almost grow, and those wings that you've had, just,
Damn it.
you see his wings burst out of his back, and then burst into flame.
Cool.
I need you to make a fortitude saving throw.
Okay. Ooh. That is a -2 because I'm still drained. Does drained apply here, or is this Dreamland?
It still applies. You're still affected by
Okay.
the drain condition.
Then I'm gonna go ahead and use a tome to re-roll that, I think.
Okay.
That's better. Okay, 20 is 37.
Let's see. Let me check.
Which, by the way, because I have the Juggernaut feat, any success automatically upgrades to a critical success, if that
Ooh.
matters. If this is a success.
There was a little bit of a contest involved in there. But you beat the DC by quite a bit. And Avaxiel also was attempting a fortitude save. And only rolled a 28.
Damn. Okay.
So,
I would have lost if I had gone with my first roll. Thank you, everybody, for the tomes.
I'm going to have you narrate how it is that you separate yourself, casting or releasing or freeing, however you want to look at it, the pit fiend Vaxiel from within your, where he's literally been possessing your soul.
Okay.
And because of your critical success,
Mhm.
of all of the features, I don't know if you remember which features you were granted. I have the list
very
here.
much remember. So do I.
Of those, because of your critical success, when you cast a Vaxiel out, you may maintain one of those features. Because you've essentially, with the time speed up, you've essentially spent about a month possessed by this demon. I kind of feel like I know what the answer is going to be.
Yes,
but...
you do! Oh my god,
So,
I was so bummed that I wasn't going to get to do this. Okay.
So, this is your narration.
Okay. So, Teera, it kind of, to the camera, appears that there's just one person falling, right? Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So where Teera before was kind of like I said, like standing on the air, she is kind of like flailing again, and as she's flailing for like split seconds, and you'd almost like question whether or not you saw it. It looks like she's fighting. It looks like she's almost fighting herself, and I imagine there's like very much the way M described with Marta, like the veins kind of coming up. There's like cracks almost starting to appear as Teera's skin like looks like kind of volcanic earth, and you start to see like fire and molten mass below it. And as she finally and she opens her eyes at one point, and they're just red, glowing again with that molten light. And then she shuts them hard again and opens them one more time, and they're blue like they were before. With one last seeming like push, she would like burst open, and this like cracked earth kind of chips away all at once. And wings come out of her back. And they are raven wings. And they are black. And she just kind of like bursts, like she's like almost like she's like hatching, like reborn. And then realizing that a Vaxiel is now, I assume, kind of gone, would like curl back onto herself and just kind of prepare for impact. And that's about it.
Within the dream, as you do that, and you sort of curl, preparing, the camera sort of moves down, accelerating, until we see this almost wasteland, possibly a layer of hell itself, cracked earth. In the distance, we can see the glow of fires and very much like I can't think what it's called now.
Avernus.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Very much like
no
Avernus.
shit.
Yeah, I was trying to say very much like Avernus. And we just see that wasteland, and then all of a sudden there's just this dust kicks up, sparks fly from the earth, and when the dust settles, you're standing there in that 3-point hero stance with those raven wings just sort of settling.
Cool. Fucking cool.
You hear footsteps behind you. Evie.
Teera would stand up,
The
and she
smell
would
of
like
brimstone is strong.
She would like puff herself up. She's not raging, but she's doing that thing she's trying to make herself look bigger than she is. And now with the wings, she's got them like fully like up. And yeah.
You turn around, puffing yourself up, and you still are minuscule compared to the pit fiend that stands before you. You are, what? Just over 6 feet, right?
Yeah, I think like 6'2" or something.
Avaxiel's 10 feet, at least. His
Mhm.
wingspan, twice the wingspan of yours.
Damn.
And Answer, his wings flare out. And then they seem to almost turn into a cloak as they settle down.
Teera settles a little bit at that too, but only a little.
This is where we part ways, human.
Teera would kind of nod up at her wings, be like, "Are these for keeps then?"
Apparently, you gain a little benefit from spending a month with a demon.
Oh, well,
I have one last parting. Call it a gift. Call it a curse. And he makes this motion like a magician doing the sleight of hand. And
these aren't the droids you're looking for.
he just goes, and in his hand, he is holding a onyx coin.
Ooh.
He takes it and just flips it to you with a taloned claw. When you catch it, for a moment, it feels as though it's going to burn right through your hand. And then you realize it is just tremendous heat coming from this, but it doesn't burn you. One time in your lifespan, you can call on me for a favor. One time
One time.
in your lifespan. Limitations and restrictions in certain states and
Yeah, this is
non-transferable.
non-transferable, I assume, obviously. Yes. Okay, well. And Tira's just kind of like flipping this coin back and over again and again and again. And if you would allow me, can I... Every time she flips it and flips it back, the image kind of changes. Like you would expect to see a certain rune on one side and then the rune on the other and then the first rune again, but you don't. You see like several different, it like changes every time she flips it. And it's that same kind of like fiery, molten, cool script.
If you keep playing with it enough, after like 101 rotations, it just says fuck off.
Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. It's like, all right, well, good luck then, I guess, with all your evil and whatnot.
You'll
I'm
get
glad
no
you're not
sentimental
trapped.
goodbyes from me. And he makes a swish, like a swirl motion, as the bottom talons of his wings and his tail form a perfect circle. He flips you off and disappears into the ground, leaving a searing hole behind. And you awaken the next morning, having gained the benefits of your full rest. And you feel and find that abyssal coin grasped in your palm. That is a boon that
Yay!
at any one time as an action, you can use that coin to summon a Vaxiel.
Wow.
Or, a favor.
Wow.
To yet be determined. I guess it depends on his mood when you summon him.
That's fair.
But he is bound for one favor.
Badass. And for anybody who's playing along at home, Teera is keeping Fiendish Wings, which was a bonus that I got for being possessed by that motherfucker. And I was really bummed for a second that I wasn't going to get to ever use it, but thank you, Jade.
It was your critical
Woo!
success that did that. You were going to lose everything. If you
Oh
had
my God.
failed, a Vaxiel would have still gotten free, and you probably would have been drained 2 or 3 permanently.
Damn.
You would have had a
Damn.
permanent loss of hit point maximum,
Well,
which was
thank
something
God
like
for those
I think you were
tomes.
down something like 80 hit points or 70 hit points or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was down like something like that.
Yeah, it would have been permanent.
Anyway. Woo! Well, thank God that went the way that it went. Teera wakes up and she has a little bit of a crick in her neck. And she would be like, what a dick.
You hear, good morning to you too. Sitting next to you by the fire is Kane, who is has just added some logs to the fire and probably has coffee sitting on a stone nearby, eating up.
And as she sees Kane and she sees the desert and she sees the fire and all that shit, all of the other shit kind of floods back in, and this news she has for Kane, and she would just kind of be like, yeah, well, one thing at a time, I suppose. And she would look over at him and she would say, we're going back to Ergland. We have to. Well, I have to. I don't know what Flip's plans are. It's hard for me sometimes to understand what his plans are in between his, incessant badgering. But I have to go back to Ergland. I have to deal with Ronica. And I have to get Gom's body back, and I think Flip is at least going to take me there on the airship. So if he just takes me and wants to turn around and go on, you're welcome to go with him.
Are you done spewing stupid shit?
Jeez.
Of course we're going with you.
And Kane, you
Listen,
really don't have to.
shut
you have
up.
bigger things to worry about.
Shut up. I don't care what the ghost of Dirkhead said. You're my sister. You've always been my sister. We've spent more time apart than we've spent together. But I'd rather not lose you and know that there was something I could have done. We're going with you. If Flip decides to keep going on, that's up to him. But I'll be there. Wherever you go, I'm going.
And Teera would look around and she'd be like, well, the sooner we get out of this desert, the better. There's sand everywhere. And she would kind of brush tears a little bit. And she'd just be like, thank you. If anything happens, just know that this time has been short, but it's been meaningful to me. It really has.
He looks like he's about to say something, and then he goes, damn smoke, and wipes at his eye, and the smoke's nowhere near his face. As he turns away,
the EQ of
just,
these two people is so low.
Flip, are you awake at this point? What are you doing?
No feeling.
Flip is preparing the airship for departure.
So, Flip, whenever you got up, presumably before this, and you started making preparations, when you finally climbed aboard, you would have found Marta sitting midship. She is sitting cross-legged, facing the front of the ship, the bow of the ship, and she is holding in front of her the blood axe. The head of the blood axe is upward, actually. And you see that she has her hands firmly wrapped around the handle. This handle, as you will recall, at the time of the grandfather tree, when you all emerged from these cocoons, the blood axe handle had been destroyed, and the grandfather tree had sort of attached, like grew this piece of itself to become the handle. Marta is holding onto the handle of this blood axe, and you can see the thorns piercing through the back of her hand. But you also see where it almost looks like the handle, the wood of the handle, is starting to grow over top of her hands. It looks like where the bottom of the haft is touching the deck. You can see like tendrils of roots that are forming themselves and blending into the wood of the deck. And you see those sort of almost luminous purple veins all over Marta that she gets from her curse whenever she uses her magic, particularly healing magic. She is, as you climb aboard, her back is to you, but you can hear her mumbling under her breath the whole time.
As Flip walks up, he starts doing his cross checks. He starts muttering to himself. It's like, how is it possible that I emerged from a cocoon, and I am confronted by 4 bizarre, strange creatures? What did I do to deserve leading these creatures?
Does Flip have a clipboard? I need to know. I'm sorry. Does he have a clipboard? He's like...
First, it was the Cavern Elf. They would just refuse to do anything that made sense. Go off on their own, wearing robes. It's like if you were playing chivalry in caverns, you'd never let the robed character leave on their own down a tunnel. You're asking for death. Then there was the other one, the orc. And it was the sister of the brother. And they were just dim-witted, but big-hearted. And then they decided to hop inside their cursed axe or something ridiculous. And then, seeing what happened with the cursed axe, Marta decided, hey, I need to get up in that. Yeah, baby, that's what I need. I need to align myself with that device. And now, muttering on the deck, weird thorns. Yeah, it's not great. Teera's foibles are obvious. You know, stubborn. You know, making out with a pit fiend despite sage advice not to do it. Just my luck, she's gonna come back with weird demon eyes and have like that true sight that pierces illumination. That shit's gonna glow green. Even when she's sleeping, it's gonna glow through her eyeballs. Some weird shit. Kane doesn't really count. Because Kane is an NPC at best. Barely rates in the telling of my tale. And now there's me. Where will my story end? Clearly, it will be almost like the Mighty Quackers, leading a team of misfits and ill-begotten ne'er-do-wells toward a cup of some silver and gold and victory of some kind. We'd create a combat formation called the Flying V, and it would be undefeatable. But it's not about me. Not about me. But if I were a servant of the gods, the god would say, "Good job, Flip. Not just for saving these rampantly obtuse creatures, but for making it look good while doing it." And Flip is he's gonna sort of like cast Mage Hand, and he's gonna say "Flip," and his cloak will billow behind him, and the Mage Hand will pat him on the back. He's gonna
There.
say, "Good job, Flip." Say, "Thanks, me."
Teera and King come on board the ship.
Who the fuck are you talking to?
What?
Nothing. And Teera would like hop up over and see this whole shit with Marta and be like, would look over at Flip and kind of like point at Marta and just look at Flip and be like, what's she doing?
I mean, clearly she's getting up in that axe. What is, like, how else would you describe that situation?
Well, to be honest, Flip, I mean, I just saw it about, 5 seconds ago, so not sure how I would describe it, but... And Teera would kind of go up, so is Marta, like, entranced, or, like...
If you walk around to the front, you would see that Marta is staring straight ahead, but her eyes are pure white.
And Teera would, like, wave her hand in front. Nothing, I assume.
You, for a moment, I mean, she doesn't flinch, she doesn't do anything like that. But you do, after a moment, you hear the muttering, the constant stops. Please do not interrupt me. It is
Sorry,
taking
Marta.
everything I have to subdue the Blood Axe.
Okay,
In the absence of Vornushka, it is trying to corrupt all of us.
Oh.
It made a play in the night. I'm using all of my strength to hold it at bay.
Right. Sorry.
Whatever happens, do not disrupt me.
Okay.
And then after a moment you hear as she is muttering incantations. And if you watch, you can see just every so often you'll see a tendril of root from the blood axe wend its way a few centimeters. You see more of that purple veining kind of curl its way up her arms or her neck. Marta is using all of her powers, drawing on this, despite this curse as an oracle that she's had, and appears to be fusing the blood axe to the deck of the ship in the process, but also fusing herself to the blood axe. And Teera, I think you would even see where she's sitting cross-legged. You can just see some of these tendrils from her feet and her legs seem to be, it almost looks like the deck is growing vines up that are starting to not just wrap around, but grow into Marta's legs.
Okay. Well, she did say don't interrupt. So Teera won't. She would look over at Flip and she would just say, well, how can I help get us in the air there, Captain?
By staying away from anything that moves or looks like it does something.
And Teera would kind of like grunt and sit down on a step somewhere and fucking start whittling or something. Maybe take a swig off of her flask.
Is the plan, this is for Flip, is the plan to fly to Erglin?
Yes.
Thank you,
Then
bud.
we're going to do a Star Wars wipe. And...
But before we do that...
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Teera has to ask Flip if he's coming with her.
Oh, yeah. So as Teera is disgruntledly whittling, I assume, and I imagine they're like in the air by now, and they're kind of like halfway, and like So are you gonna just Teera would go up to Flip and kind of be talking kind of in hushed tones, and she would just say, "So are you gonna, drop me off and then head on to the Lotus, or?" And Teera doesn't even like. She has grown to like Flip, and she doesn't really want to think of the alternative of him just kind of leaving her behind. And so, like, she can't even really say it. That or just kind of lingers in the air.
Flip is going to look up at Teera almost sideways while he's piloting the ship because he's doing everything. And he's going to ask Teera, he's like, Teera, don't you know the Ballad of Flip by now? If you did, it would answer your question.
Teera would smile and kind of scratch the back of her neck, and she's like, "You're gonna have to refresh me."
Flip is going to keep one hand on the wheel, and he's going to use the other to sort of pull the back of his shirt up and kind of push his pants down. And he has a tramp stamp that says "Look good and kick ass."
Yes.
And he's going to say, "If
fucking
that doesn't
awesome.
answer your question, I don't know what would."
Well, and Teera would kind of nod, and she'd be like, "That tells me all I need to know and more. Thank you so much, Flip, for that gracious sentiment." And Teera would walk away and like, I got some carving, and she would like make her way back to where she was grumbling on the stoop. But she's happy that he's gonna stay.
All right. With that, we'll do a Star Wars wipe, and at this point, the Zephyrhawk is parked just outside of Ergland, the entrance to Warmouth, and we see that sort of low camera angle view, and then we see Teera, your feet as you drop down off of the deck of the ship and approach. Then we see Kane drops to follow behind you. Flip, are you following or staying on the ship?
We'll follow.
Okay. And then Flip drops down, and as you're walking towards Erglin, you're probably a couple 100 meters out from the entrance, and you don't even get 50 meters, and you see the roving wolves orcs begin filing out through the front of the gate of Warmouth. And the way they come out, they sort of spill out and they split, and they start to form this well, like a V formation towards all of you, where the open end is towards all of you. And then you see two larger orcs. Nobody that you know. Nobody of note other than their size. And then behind them is Roniker.
Teera would she's speaking Orcish pretty much for the duration here. And she would yell out to Roniker, "Seems like you like people doing your fighting for you." Essentially. Whatever the nearest orc translation of that would be. As she gestures at these two hulks.
And he answers back in Orcish. Well, At least I've got pure orc blood at my side. Not a human and a goblin.
Well, this human, and goblin managed to kill Yaltha where she stood in her traitorous boots, didn't they?
Yeltha was weak.
And Rhaegar too. And most of your other pitiful band.
But a handful of orcs. As you can see, I've got more to spare. And if you think you're stepping foot back in this city, you're thinking wrong. Any possible hope that you could have had of finding allies and the roving wolves is gone.
Well,
I suggest you get back on your little airship and sail off into the sunset.
Teera would look over around at all these orcs. They're assembled. And she would just kind of shrug and be like, expendable. That's all you are to him. More to spare, he says. Expendable. All of you. And Teera would kind of at this point puff up. And she'd be like, I don't need to set foot inside your shit city. I would prefer to never see it again, in fact. But I would prefer for you to never see anything again. Ever.
You already tried and failed to kill me once.
Well, let's see if I can, second time's a charm, eh? I declare a Vardok Mund.
You see,
Teera said that loud.
He's just about, you see him just about to issue command. And when you say the Vardok Mund, you see his head whip around. And then he kind of, for a second, he just glances around. Like, almost like, did anybody else hear that?
Did you not hear me? I said what I said.
The two orcs that were standing in front of Roniker immediately drop their sort of at the ready position of their weapons. They drop them more to an at ease, and they step out from in front of him. Every orc in this formation, there's probably at this point close to 100 orcs out here. Every one of them sheathes their swords or places their weapons leaning down on the ground or places them back on their backs. And they begin to enclose a little bit the area you're in, and you can begin to hear low at first and picking up in crescendo as you hear Vardok Mund, Vardok Mund, Vardok Mund, Vardok Mund. And then it's just so loud, all of you hear this as they are Vardok Mund, Vardok Mund. And Roniker is looking around for a moment like he's looking for an escape. And then he looks at you, takes a deep breath. Vardok Mund, which is accepting your blood contest challenge.
Badass. Fuck yeah. Welcome to the Thunderdome, bitches.
At which point Kane leans over and goes, what the hell's going on? I haven't understood a word you said.
Teera would be kind of like cracking her knuckles and getting her shit like
so we're gonna
prepared.
Fight him.
Yes. And Teera would look at Kane specifically and just say, I'm gonna fight him. All right. And
no, we are gonna fight.
No, Kane, I am going to fight him, and you can't interfere at all.
God damn it. This is one of your stupid orc things.
And Teera would slap him in the face, and like she would, and like kind of almost like older sibling, very much, and she'd be like, "It is not anything like that. It is one of our most sacred traditions. 2 of us are gonna go in there, and 1 of us is gonna walk out alive, and you can't do shit. Do you understand? Kane, you can't do anything."
You see he is struggling. You see the welt of your handprint rising on his cheek. He's struggling with the urge to lash back at you, to yell at you, to want to fight. And then you see him as he suddenly draws his sword. And he drops it. You better not die.
And Teera would smile, and she would like pat him on the chest, and she would just shrug, and she would say, "Tell my niece good things about me, eh?" And she would look over at Flip, and she would like point kind of a finger at him too, and she'd be like, "No interference. Do you hear me?" Is Gary frozen? This is what
Nope.
I want to know. Oh no, there he is. Jesus, you're so still, dude. She would look at Flip and she'd be like, "No interference. Do you hear me?"
Yeah. Yeah, sure. What?
And Teera would smile, and she would kind of finish, like, kind of preparing herself. And she would turn around and she would draw her bitchin' frosty sword, and she would just nod and say, "Vodokmund."
You see across this area where Roniker is preparing, as he came out wearing this sort of a sleeveless, I don't know what you would call it, like a cloak almost. You know what I'm talking about. It's sleeveless, but it goes all the way to the ground, kind of like a robe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of takes that, throws it off so that he's bare chested. You can see the Orcish equivalent of a puka shell necklace, which is like teeth around his neck, and he's grabbing his great axe, and you see him reach into his belt, and he pulls a small bottle out and pops the cork and
Oh wow.
drinks like a 5-hour energy drink, basically.
He drinks a Red Bull.
And as he does that, you see him he's holding the great axe in one hand, and then he just sort of and then he suddenly drops the axe to his side and just does that tough guy walk where he just starts walking, throwing his shoulders forward.
Like Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah, absolutely, like Conor McGregor as he goes anywhere. Absolutely doing the tough guy walk. Amazing. As he starts striding towards you. And as you move in to meet him, the orcs close in and either meet up with where Flip and Kane are, or if you push back, they would push you back out of the way. But they don't deliberately try to push you out of the way, Flip or Kane. You're a part of this circle that's being formed. This circle is 100 people. I don't know. We'll call it a 50-foot circle. I don't know if that's mathematically
Sounds
accurate or not, but
I am off the clock. I'm on spring break, so
it is what it is.
Who the fuck knows?
It's about a 50-foot circle.
Great.
He is, like I said, he's moving towards you, and the closer he gets to you, you see him pick up speed as he
Can I
looks like
rage in advance?
he.
Sorry, when I see that
I'm going to
shit.
say yes because I'm going to allow both of you. You almost simultaneously go into this, and he
Badass.
roars with an orcish war cry, and we're going to roll initiative to see which one of you gets the first attack.
Wow. Okay. Here we go, baby. Come on. Mwah, come on. This has been building. I'm gonna go ahead and use a tome. One more tome, please. Here I go. Yeah, that's better. I got a 31.
Doing math. That's 20,
Gary,
30,
I'm slowly becoming you.
35.
I love this freedom with the tomes. This is very amazing.
You mean the carries?
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you?
He got a 35. So as he goes into this rage, he comes charging at you, and he does one of those. He just leaps into the air, axe overhead, and he comes swinging it down at you. Oh my gosh!
Nat 1.
I cannot believe his first roll
Is a nat
critical
1.
fail.
Yes.
I cannot believe. You can't.
Amazing.
This cannot be how.
No, it
Roniker
is
goes
destiny.
down.
It is destiny.
All right, let me do a quick shuffle here. These are broken up by melee, ranged, unarmed, and
Let me be
spell.
clear. Roniker is a terrible, terrible bully, and he deserves whatever he gets. And so, this is fate.
Well, I guess this is what's happening. On the receiving end, you deal damage to yourself instead of the target.
He rolls an ankle when he comes down.
I think in his blind rage, as he comes down, part of him missing is he pulled I keep saying blood axe, the great axe, too far back, and as he draws it forward, he slices across his own shoulder. Oh, that's not great either. He is gonna take 8 plus. He's gonna take 21 points of slashing damage.
Ouch.
But he gets a second attack as he lands.
Okay.
So that was his movement action and his melee action. His second attack is, the way this works is it's part of the attack action that if he makes a melee weapon attack, he can follow up with a single unarmed strike.
Oh wow. Okay.
That
Gonna punch me right in the boob.
Pete.
Concern.
So that's going to be a 27 to hit with that.
Ooh. Well, my AC is 27.
That's a hit.
That is a hit.
So as he hits you with his fist, can't remember what the unarmed attack damage is. If it's like D&D,
I think it's just strength plus like 4. I think just bludgeoning 4. I thought.
So as he hits you, yeah, I can't find it this quick, and it's not telling. Oh wait. I think nope, he doesn't have it either. I thought there was an unarmed spot on the path builder.
This would be a point where I would do another ad for teespring.com. Unfortunately, I can only do one per episode, so I can't tell you this time about teespring.com, where we have all kinds of t-shirts.
All right, so I'm gonna do it this way because there is a little extra sauce on this. as
Oh,
he hits
Jesus.
you. So it is going to be. Oh, it's only one. You feel as you take 11 points of bludgeoning damage. Actually, sorry, because he's raging, you're going to take 17 points of bludgeoning damage. But you feel as his fist comes and strikes you, it's like he's hitting you with a rock. His fist is as solid as stone. That 27 is your AC with the -1 for raging, right?
Oh, I apologize. No,
Okay.
it was That's
I'm
26
remembering
now.
also that I
Okay.
have to drop my
Yep.
AC because I'm raging.
Yep.
That's his turn.
Yep. Okay.
The fight
solid.
is on. You are engaged.
Okay, so I am engaged and enraged. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to hit him with my sword, please. Here I go. That's a 26 to hit him.
That is going to miss.
Shit. Okay. That's fine. I'm gonna try to attack him again. Let's see. That's a -5. Oh, that is a 35 to hit him.
That's a hit.
Hell yeah, bitch. Okay, so that is... Damn, I love this sword. Okay, here we go. That is a 15. Plus 9 is 24, plus 5 is 29, plus 6 for raging is 35 normal damage, and then 1d6 of cold damage if he is susceptible. That's an additional 2, so 37 total.
You swing your sword, and you hear he literally takes and backhands your sword with that free fist that he just punched you with, and it sounds like metal on stone.
That fucker took a potion, didn't he? Yeah,
As he hits the sword and knocks it away, but you were able to turn that into a successful strike, and you
right up
see
into his armpit.
you see that gash open up and immediately sort of freeze as that cold damage hits, and he starts bleeding from under the arm. He is already moving through. He takes that and turns it into a spin as he drops down. And as he comes up, I need you to make a reflex save.
Okay.
As he has grabbed a fistful of sand and is throwing it in your face.
Pocket sand. Okay, reflex save is 22. 22.
That's a miss. Or a fail on the DC. So you are now blinded. You can't see. Duh. Terrain now becomes difficult terrain. You can't detect anything with vision. Automatically critically fail perception checks that require you to see. If it's your only precise sense, you take a -4 penalty to perception checks. You're immune to visual effects.
I have a very quick question.
Yeah.
So attacking is only one action. I do have 3 actions. Was that the beginning of his turn, or do I still
Yes.
get
So
one
yeah.
for that?
Sorry. Yeah. If you still have another action you want to do.
Yeah, I would love to attack before I got blinded, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I?
Sorry.
That'd be great. Thank you. No, it's fine.
Been a
Let's
month
roll
since
back
we
the clock
played. I
real
got to
quick.
remember
No,
the
it's cool.
order of
It's cool.
operations.
Oh, that's a nat 1. So how about we just roll that into the whole blind thing? How about we just forget that happened and roll?
You were attacking with your sword?
Yeah. No.
I have a critical fumble deck for a reason.
Ah!
Oh, you're not going to like this one.
No! Fucking, can I do a tome? Can I do a tome, please? Or is it too late?
It would cost you 5 tomes to change the success level.
To re-roll, it would cost me 5 tomes?
Well, no, it's 1 to re-roll, but if you wanted to change it from a critical fail.
Can I just re-roll?
And you don't even know
instead?
what it is, and you're like panicking.
I just don't like your tone. Can I use 1 tome to re-roll, please, or no? Is it
If
too
you
late?
want to, that's what they're there for.
I'm gonna.
And then I'll
I'm
tell
gonna.
you what it. Well, let's see what you roll.
Yeah, let's. Well, that's still gonna be a fail, but it's not a critical fail. Probably it
The-
is 19.
Yeah. What I pulled was weapon tangle. You can't use this weapon to attack until the end of your next turn. You would have basically
Nope.
lost your sword attacks for a full turn.
That would have been bullshit. I'm glad I used a tome. Thank you
So
for your
still
tomes,
with that
baby.
failure, that's where you see him come up and throw that sand for his first action, blinding you.
Sure is blind.
Now this isn't like D&D, so it doesn't give you. He doesn't have like advantage or anything on you. But he is. You're not going to see this coming, as he is going to swing his. He's going to swing his axe upward in an uppercut motion. That is going to be. What's your AC now? Is 26?
26, because I'm raging.
So that's a math. 21, 31, 41,
Ooh.
which would be critical because it's more than 10 over.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to take. Let's do a quick shuffle. Burp, 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 burp. These decks are getting a lot of use tonight. This is a slashing attack. Overhand chop. This is actually an uppercut. But the crit effect is you are going to take 1d8 persistent bleed damage on top of the damage of the axe. So you're going to take 6 plus 5 is 11, plus the 6 for raging is 17 plus 13. So you're going to take 30 slashing damage.
Oh, man.
And you're not going to take that 1d8, because I just realized he already made an attack action with the... Oh, wait, what's 41? No, that would still be... Minus 5 would be 36. That's still 10 over. So you'll also take 3 bleeding damage from the slash. And he's going to, as part of this attack, he's going to follow up with the melee fist attack. It's a 19, minus 5 is a 14, is a 37.
What? 37 to hit?
Yeah.
God damn it. Okay, yeah, well, yeah.
This one is bludgeoning. Crumpling blow. You don't see it coming, you're blinded. All of a sudden, you feel that stone fist crash against the side of your head. You see stars, and then you hit the ground. You take... Damn. You take... What was it? 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
Jesus Christ.
Your blindness will last until the end of this turn, by the way.
Oh, good. Phew! I'm glad it's not, like, just forever.
No.
That's great. Good.
So it is now your turn.
But I am still blind.
Yes.
That said, he did just punch me in the face. So I have some
you're also
kind of fucking
prone.
idea. Okay. So with one action, I will stand up. And then I just want to try to swing it where I think he is with my sword. Like, what kind of penalties does that entail? Or do I just...
Your penalties, according to what I'm reading on the block, are they're to your vision specifically. So it's 2 perceptions. It's weird the way this works.
So,
and it causes terrain
to be difficult.
It says you can't detect anything using vision.
But I could detect him using punch in face.
Yeah, just go,
okay, great.
Go
Perfect.
ahead.
I know where he is. You motherfucker. So here I go. I'm gonna get him. Here we go. 30 to hit?
Yeah.
Yes. Nice. Good. Alright, here I go. 8.
While Teera is rolling up damage on this hit, Flip, what, are you doing anything besides observing this fight? Just composing a ballad in your head?
31. That's 33 points of damage.
Okay. So
And I do get one more attack if you will allow me.
You said 33?
33 points of damage, correct.
Hold on. I am struggling with math for some reason. I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
You got your actions.
Here I go. One more. Ooh, wow. That is a 35 to hit him. What's his AC?
I'm telling you.
Well, you got to tell me if it's a crit.
Yeah, it's
That's
not a
the only
crit.
reason I asked.
It's not a crit. It is a hit, not a crit.
Anyway, figured I'd shot. Oh, Jesus. Ah, Jesus.
I'll tell you, since in the interest of speeding up slightly, you're trying to hit a 28 AC.
Thank you. 29 points of damage.
29.
Teera is just, I imagine, like, tears are, like, falling, but just, like, you don't know whether it's the sand in her eyes or the emotion of the moment, but she is, like, fucking just wildly slashing.
Have you ever seen Bloodsport?
Dude, yes.
It's as the blind, I just see Jean-Claude Van Damme just going. So helpless, but your vision, the water, the tears kind of cleans the sand out as you see him. He is he's coming in with the great axe, swinging it in a yeah, he's swinging it at your belly. That's gonna be 35 to hit.
Yep.
So that'll be 12 on the die. Oh, and a 1 on the die. So that's 13 plus 13 is 26 plus 6 is 32 slashing damage. Following up with the Stone Fist attack, that'll be another 19 bludgeoning. And I will tell you that Roniker is bloodied.
Okay, good.
Which
I
means
would
he's-
fucking hope so.
Which means he's at more than half of his hit points. How's Teera
So
looking?
am I. Teera is... He has more than half of his hit points, or he
Bloodied
has
means
lost more?
he's at or below half hit points.
Okay, Teera is at a little less than half. If I had to put a number on it, I would say she's at a 60 out of a 178.
I won't tell you the number because
No, that's fine. I know how percentages work. Okay. So Teera can see now.
yeah, so that was just his first attack. He is going to yeah, he's just going to do another straight up attack. That is probably not going. Oh, that might. 29.
Yeah, that hits.
Three, 7, 26 slashing.
26 slashing?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
And he's going to use his third action as movement to move away from you. 35 feet.
Wow.
Is your turn. He's
Okay.
breathing heavily, sweat mixing with blood as he backs up, just putting a distance between you. It's that equivalent of in Mortal Kombat when you do a couple flips to get to the far edge of the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's just breathing at you. You don't look like you got much left in you.
Okay. I have a question. I want to do something creative. And you feel free to... I'm just asking for adjudication here. I want to fly up with my wings and gain some kind of a fucking dive bomb attack of some sort. Is there any way I can do something like that?
You would get so the way it works is it takes you 2 actions to call forth your wings.
Jesus Christ, never... God damn it.
Which you could then use your 3rd action to fly up in the air. Up to your movement speed. Which would effectively set you up for a dive bomb attack on the...
Alright, I'll do that. I'll do that.
So, what is your movement speed?
My movement speed is 30.
Okay.
30 feet.
So what I'll say is, on a hit, you'll deal an additional 3d6 damage, because you're basically adding your speed of falling the 30 feet to the attack. So you call forth your wings, and sand pushes away as you fly up, and for a moment, I just picture it as the sun is rising in the sky.
Sun.
You just
Fuck yeah.
are... The sun is behind you. You're silhouetted as Roniker and all the orcs around you just look up. And he is going to... Gee, how do you even do that?
God damn it. Okay,
What?
Jake, I'm so sorry. He has gone twice. I've had weapon resistance this whole time, and I haven't been using it. Can I add 14 back? Because I had 7 weapon resistance on both of his attacks here.
From...
Raging. It's my raging resistance, and that's my focus. So
Oh. Yeah.
I'm
Like,
so sorry.
I
should have
but
been
I guess
doing
my
that as
barbarian's
we...
different.
Yep, my barbarian has that shit. I promise.
So
I'll
yeah,
show
no
it to
problem.
you on Path Builder
Yeah, no.
sometime. Thank you. I apologize.
That's fine. He is going to... I'm not sure how throwing works in Pathfinder.
Same as a ranged attack. It's just usually less far. Oh, and you use your strength mod instead of your dex mod.
Because what he's gonna do is rather... I'm gonna impose a -2 circumstance bonus. He is going to basically spin around like throwing a discus or a shot put or whatever. As he does a spin, he's going to throw his great axe up in the air at you. You've just flown up above him out of his range.
Yeah.
So the way I'm going to do this is...
Wow.
He's going to have the -2 penalty. Because it's not a thrown weapon. He's going to have another -2 weapon, or thrown, because it's 30 feet that he's trying to throw it. He's going to have a -4 to hit. So that becomes... That's a 21. This great axe, just as he spins around, it comes flying up. It doesn't even make it to you. It just goes... And we see where the great axe just suddenly goes into the sand. And then the camera pans up to Kane and Flip. It basically landed like 5 feet in front of them.
That's so fucking awesome.
And then
That's so awesome.
shifts up to where you're at as he's just looking up at you.
Yep.
Vadakmund! You're going to hide in the sky! Get down here,
I'm
bitch!
Not. Okay. Incredible. Guess
And
what, fucker?
He... You'd think I know a little more about Pathfinder. Are there held actions?
Yeah. Or yeah, whatever it's called, but you can like say if this then that.
So he's cocking back his fist, or like gathering his fist up. He's going to make a fist attack as soon as you get within range. So
Okay.
it's your turn.
Well, I want to do that dive a bomb attack, please. Here I go.
He misses with when he tries to hit you. I got a 23.
Great. I got a 31 to hit.
That's a hit. So
you
roll
said I get-
whatever your normal damage is and add 3d6 to it for the speed you gather as you're flying down. You're coming down out of the sky in an interesting comparison because of little meta of who you've played before. Kind of like Zariel coming out of the sky on wings with a
Wow.
sword,
Yep.
charging forward.
Wow.
They'll
so
throw back to your VO.
You damn right.
Credits.
Sirenscape, everybody. Check them out at sirenscape.com. That's 37 points of damage on the
Yes.
first attack.
Yeah, you come down. When you come down and attack him, do you land as this attack, or are you swooping past? What are you doing?
I imagine she is coming down as hard as she can with her sword like over her head, and she's using like the full weight of her body and the fall and just everything, and she's just landing with like a cloud of dust.
As the dust settles, you just see this massive slash from shoulder to hip.
Mm-hmm.
That's doing that thing where it sort of
Rob Roy.
freezes. Also,
Oh, yeah.
take another 4 bleeding damage. I forgot to roll your persistent bleeding damage.
Ow.
So that was 2 actions, one for movement and one for attack. And now
Okay.
you're engaged with them.
One more. Here I go. Oh man.
He's hurting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and attack him. Here I go. Let's see. I gotta use another tone. I gotta try again.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah, I know. That's even fucking worse. Give me one more. That's a fucking nat 20, bitch! Oh my god.
That's why we
That's why we
roll
fucking
'em.
have them. Thank you, everybody,
Well,
and
I gotta
also
get
me.
this fixed. There we go.
Fucker. Okay.
Okay,
Great.
so nat 20. This is the. Oops. So at a minimum, unless something else comes up, you're gonna do.
We do max damage and then one more roll on
No,
top
for this
of it,
one,
right?
it's you
Or
roll your
just
damage,
double?
then double it. Unless,
Okay, you're right.
so you're attacking with the slash.
Yeah.
That'll leave a mark. Normal damage. We're gonna do the normal crit damage, and he takes an additional 2d6 persistent damage, which he'll take at the start of each of his turns.
Okay. So normal damage.
No, sorry, normal
So,
crit
like-
damage. So
So
roll
double.
roll all of your damage, double it, and then add 2d6 for bleeding to it.
So that's- Jesus, he's gotta be dead. Double it and then add 2d6.
Yep.
Okay, I'm doing hard math right now.
It's addition, ladies and gentlemen.
That is, well, it's addition up to fucking 96 points of damage. on
Good
that
lord.
attack.
Let me do my hard addition.
I think we should make a new T-shirt for MTD on Teespring.com that just says hard edition.
So you come flying out of the sky in this power move, slashing across him, and then glancing up at him, you calculate just the right strike to make. Seeing where he's wounded under the arm, across here. What does this final killing blow look like? Because you did 36 points over his max HP of damage.
So I imagine as Teera is like, she comes down, and this is already the force of her previous blow has kind of wound her up, if that makes sense, like loaded this last attack. And as she's coming up, she hears Dirkhead in her head saying, "Watch the opponent, not the weapon." And then she hears Garm in her head with some other piece of advice, like something about a man's fear, something poetic that I can't come up with right now. And she would just frickin' slash up and scream, and there's just spit and blood and sand and sweat flying, and she just slashes up under his other armpit through all the way, like his opposite shoulder. And I imagine this is like a clean cut, like that slab like slips off as his legs stand. There's
a moment where the crowd all around on either side of Flip and Kane and all around you are still chanting Vadak Mund, Vadak Mund. And as you come up with that final slash and your sword shing, and there's just this just Kurosawa type arc of blood that just shing. We see like 3 or 4 orcs on the side just get splattered with blood.
Cool.
And the chanting goes Vadak Mund, and it's dead silent. And then you just see that from the shoulder down, armpit to the neck, whatever, just that section just go fall to the ground, and he collapses into the sand, dead. The roving wolves tribe of orcs surrounding you is completely silent.
Teera would kind of like flick the what is left of the blood on her sword onto the sand. And I imagine it's like frozen, so there's like a tink 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 of frozen blood onto the sand. And she would like kind of like almost be marching around this circle and just be like, "My name is Teera the Sun-Maned. You will do as I command now." And she's like looking at the people, like she's saying these things in the heat of the moment, but she like kind of doesn't know what to say deep down. And she's like looking around at seeing if there's any reaction or any sense that these people might still like revolt.
I would like you.
She is speaking in Orcish, by the way.
I would like you, and I'll give you a +2 circumstance bonus. I would like you to roll a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What's your diplomacy?
Diplomacy is my best thing. It is a +0.
Okay.
My intimidation's a +14.
Well, you can roll intimidation.
Great, I will. And that's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All around this circle, orcs are shifting uncomfortably. Some of them are glancing from one to the other. Everybody seems to be waiting for somebody else to make a move. Nobody's making a move. And then you hear from over by where the gate was, where Veronica first came through, you hear a voice in Orcish saying, "Out of the way! Move!" It's a smaller voice. And you see those two hulking orcs kind of looking down and behind them, and there is an orc girl, looks to be probably about 16 years old, and she's carrying something in her arms, draped across her arms, cloth that you recognize immediately, even though it hasn't even been opened up. This is the chieftain's cloak that Garm wore, and that Roniker also would have worn. This girl was probably like a the only word that comes to mind, I know it's not the right word, is intern. It's not the right word.
She's a temp.
She's
Got
a
it.
temp.
Okay,
She's
perfect.
like a squire or an attendant
A
to Roniker, as she comes running forward and sort of stops in front of you, looking up at you. She's a teenage orc. She's small for her age. She's not even 6 feet yet. So she's close to your height, but for a teenage orc at that age, that's probably pretty small. And she kind of stops and looks at you, and then holds out, kind of unfurls it, and then holds it open, like waiting for you to kind of. And then she walks slowly around to behind you.
Teera would turn, if it's okay, and she would kind of pick it up, almost like it's hanging on her hand like a hook, and she would just kind of look at it as it's hanging there, and she would look around at these orcs again, kind of questioning and kind of unsure, and she would look over at this girl and she would say, does she recognize this girl? Mayhaps.
Yeah, you haven't been gone that long. You've been gone maybe less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably recognize her.
What kind of kid is she? She a good kid? I want to know.
I would say what you remember of this kid is that she was picked, as often happens, as one of probably a handful that were as part of their training to attend to the chief, and she did as she was told. She was rarely chastised or beaten, but you always saw this sort of cleverness and intelligence behind her eyes, like she was biding her time, paying her dues, knowing that eventually she wouldn't be in this position forever.
Sure.
But you also know that she's dedicated and loyal to the tribe and to the traditions.
Okay.
She just kind of looks nervously at you and says, "You are supposed to put it on. You're the chief now."
And Teera would look at this kid, and she would kind of have she has the cloak at this point hung over her arm, as she sort of crosses her arms and assesses this girl. And she would say, how long have you been Squire Veronica?
2 years. Let's have 14 like we all do.
Do you remember Garm very well?
You see a sadness cross over her expression.
Does it seem genuine?
And she glances, you see from the sadness, she glances at the severed body of Roniker. She glances back up at you. You see she's weighing something. And then she just spits on Roniker's body. I remember Garm. Roniker was an insult to everything he stood for.
And Can I make a perception to just make sure that she's not just making a show of this? Like make sure that she's being truthful, or does Teera just know?
Yeah, you can do perception. You don't have a insight here.
22.
She's not hiding anything. In fact, with that spitting on Roniker's body, any vestige of pretense of loyalty to Roniker has dropped. She's 100% loyal. Mechanically, she rolled a 1. Whether it was persuasion or deception doesn't matter. You see that she's genuine. She's somebody that was sought for her potential, and Roniker probably didn't even know what he had picked, who he had picked. This is the person standing before you has the potential to be a great warrior.
Teera would take the cloak out again, and then she would look at this girl, and she would kind of look her up and down one more time, and she would kind of nod, and then she would kind of make a motion for her to turn around.
She gives you sort of a confused look. By the way, her name is Uloth.
Uloth.
She gives you a confused look, but then she does as you say, turning her back on Roniker's severed body and sort of looking at a large portion of this tribe of orcs. They still haven't said anything. They're watching this scene unfold.
Teera would kind of open the cloak and very gently, with solemnity that Teera is not used to displaying, would put the cloak on her. And then as she kind of gets it put on, she would walk around the front and she would take this girl by the shoulders and she would just say, "You don't have to listen to me, and you don't have to listen to anyone. But remember this. You should listen to your advisors. Listen to the people that are older than you, and wiser, and with good input. And then make the decision that you think is right." And Teera would kind of take her harder by the shoulders and she would say, "Take them north. Take them back north, where we belong. Back to the realm of the Mammoth Lords. Keep them out of the dirty business of the world. They don't need to worry about any gods coming back, or any of the matters of humans. Take them north and survive the winters and build families and build the tribe back again. Build it back the way that it was." And then Teera would kind of take her hands off her shoulders and sort of shrug, and she'd be like, "But then again, you don't really need to listen to me." And Teera would turn around to this crowd and shout out, and she would just say, "This is Uloth the Strong, first of her name. And she will lead you. And you will do as she says. So says the Varokmund." And Teera would sheath her sword.
Still, nobody says anything. They're glancing at you, and then now they're glancing at Uloth. And after a moment of nobody saying anything, Uloth just kind of adjusts the cloak on her shoulders and turns to the crowd and goes, "You heard her, bitches! We got work to do!" And she goes, "Hold on." And
So fucking happy. That makes me so fucking happy, dude.
as sort of putting an epilogue on this session, before you move on. Uloth, a couple things happen. Almost immediately before the circle even leaves, you see that there's a handful of about a half a dozen orcs that look like they've clustered together, and they look like they're starting to try to slink away.
Mm-hmm.
And Uloth goes to those two big guard orcs, says something to them. They immediately sort of double time over to these orcs, who sort of stop in their tracks. 6 quick slashes of their axes, and there are 6 headless orcs.
Dude, brutal. I fucking love her.
The next thing that happens is that several of the orcs provide you with food, water, ammunition, things like that. And the final thing that happens before you take off is that Uloth the Strong, as her first major order before moving the tribe, telling the tribe to pack up and start moving out, which will take a while, take a few days at least. She orders a pyre to be built out in front of Erglin, outside the gates of Warmouth, and orders Garm's body to be placed atop it, and you are able to participate in the burning of Garm's body at the pyre. As an aside, she orders that Roniker's body be left to rot in the sun.
Fuck yes.
And it's worth noting that the last action he took before he died was he threw his weapon away.
Yes.
And he died without his weapon in his hand.
That's perfect, dude. That is so, like, Viking badass. I love it. I imagine there is a shot very similar to, like, Return of the Jedi, with Teera standing at the pyre and just kind of paying her respects.
The ghosts of Yeltha and Rhaegar. No, I'm just kidding.
Smiling and nodding, of course. No, fuck those bitches. But yeah, Teera is just kind of like having kind of a moment to herself, and isn't super emotional, like outwardly, but is very clearly like taking in this moment and taking the time that she needs.
And in the spirit of Return of the Jedi, there's a little bit of celebration, a celebration that would normally accompany the appointing or rising of a new chief.
A lot of drinking.
Yeah, a lot of drinking, a lot of sex, a lot of celebrating.
Yes.
And you would get the sense in that time that Uloth, in her position, knew who the trustworthy people were, and is already taking control of some advisors. She knows that she still has a long way to go, a lot to learn. But she's already making plans for the roving wolves to break out of whatever the alliance of orcs were, which the other orc chiefs, the other orc tribes, are more than happy to begin a power struggle to take over leadership. And knowing that the next day when you all fly out to continue on your journey, that within a few days, Uloth the Strong will lead the roving wolves back to where they belong, north through the hold of Belskin, and up towards the land of the Mammoth Lords. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Now, technically, because we got a late start, it was shorter than normal. We didn't end early, per se, but...
oh my gosh. Gary, thank you for being such a good sport, man. I know that was a lot of flip watching, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Jake. Thank you.
That,
so
much. Just because obviously we're moving Marta into a position that accounts for M being gone, that doesn't mean Marta's out of play. Marta is quite literally growing into the deck of the Zephyrhawk. And you guys can deal with that or react to that however you want. But we'll be back next Monday with hopefully a lot more. No offense, but a lot less
A lot
just
more
Teera
flip.
and more
No, I
flip.
couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Heavy episodes are good.
But this was something that Teera had to do. Go back and close the loop and deal with Roniker. The potion he drank was a Stone Fist potion that
I've used that potion before. I was wondering if that's what it was.
Yep.
Motherfucker.
it just gives him an extra 1d6, and he had
Sneaky shit.
that once per round he could roll a fist attack.
For the record, if we had gone one more round, if Teera hadn't killed him that round, Teera was gonna fucking die.
How many
I was
hit points
super
did you have
low on
left?
health. I had 40 hit points, which is pretty average for how he was doing on.
Yeah, he
every
was
other
hitting
roll.
between 30 and 50, I think.
Yeah. So I was hurting for certain, and I was in trouble. So that's why I used all the tomes.
That's what they're there for.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah, this would have been a much different ending if
I had a whole thing prepared if
Teera
I
had
was
gone
ready.
down.
I was ready.
And then
I
the
had a
rest
whole
of our
thing.
season is just Gary and me.
I was thinking maybe you'd let me play Kane. I was
I
gonna
would.
just be the same accent,
It's
slightly deeper.
literally just gender swapped Teera.
Yeah, right.
I've taken a new name, Flip. It's
Oi.
Kane the Sunmaned.
Go fuck yourself.
All right. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. As always, we appreciate the bits, the subs, all that stuff that earn them domain tomes and help support the channel. Thank you to everybody who was hanging out and chat with us. We always appreciate that. Love seeing the activity in the chat. And if you're somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the background, or maybe you're watching later on the VODs with us, we appreciate you too. And perhaps the shortest, except for the interludes, the shortest group that I'm going to acknowledge for this. A huge thank you to the final two remaining players, Gary and Cari. Without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.